Hi there, it's Sam from pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is this one. I'm making a card with you. I don't do cards on video very often. You can see them on my blog, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays, but I don't bring them onto camera very often. But I wanted to bring this one because I had an awful lot of fun doing it. And I wanted to show you how I set up a card. Now, the reason I make tent-fold cards like this is that they photograph better, because when I do it like that, because of the angle I shoot at, if I took a picture like that, it would just look weird as though it was floating. So because I make it a tent-fold, you can see that it's a card. But I want to show you how to make it and how I layer it up. So I'm bringing in my trimmer. I work in International A4. North America works in 8.5 by 11. I work in International A4, but whatever size you work in, cut your cardstock in half, doesn't matter which direction, half, and then score it in half on the other side. So because I'm making a tent-fold, I know the measurements of my cardstock, so you need to know that bit first. I'm going to cut it in half in that direction, and I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to score it in half, and I know my measurements. So long as you know your measurement that way, or in both directions, you can't go wrong. Layering is what some people have trouble with. So look and see what the measurement is of your piece of cardstock when it's folded, and this is what's known as a card blank. Some people call them card bases. Card base, card blank, same thing. And let me just burnish that to make it a little bit easier. So you look and see what size your piece of cardstock is. Now I know this is 10.5 centimetres that way, and it's 14.85 centimetres that way. In metric, we are looking, in imperial, I'm looking at 4 1/8 of an inch and 5 7/8 of an inch. So they're quite awkward sizes for the imperial folk in International A4, but I know the measurements. When you make your layer, you make it 1/2 centimetre shorter and narrower. Where's my pen? Here it is. So I'm going to scribble down here on the side. So I know this is 10.5 by 14.85. Okay, so I'm going to make it 1/2 centimetre shorter and narrower, which means I need to make it 10 by 14.35. So that would be my black layer. To do another layer, I'm going to take 1/2 centimetre off again. So that would be, I should have written it there. Well, we'll call it 9.5. And this one is going to become 13.85. Okay, so 10.5 becomes 10, becomes 9.5, 14.85 becomes 14.35, which becomes 13.85. And so on and so on and so on. If you wanted to do a card, and often I do them where I've got quite a lot of background coloured cardstock and I've got my panels in the middle, however short you make it, you need to make it the same narrower. So if I was going to have a panel on the front that was, say, 7.5 centimetres, so 10.5 take away 7.5 is 3. So that means that I need to make my other layer 11.85, and you just keep doing it like that. So no matter how much you take off one side, you have to take off the extra. That is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, so obviously I know my measurements, so I know that I need to make this. No, I need my black one. What did I do with my piece of black cardstock? Here it is. I need to make mine 10 by 14.35, which I know is over there, and then my watercolour layer 9.5 by 13.85, and that will give me a perfect border all the way around, and a perfect border all the way around. Can you see? All the way around. Dead easy. Easy peasy. Can't go wrong. Okay. let's do some watercolouring. And I'm going to do watercolouring in a slightly different way. So I've got my stays on, I've got my humming along, and I love that flower. How awesome is that? And I've got a big clear block. Now I'm going to watercolour over it. You could heat emboss this if you wanted to. I'm going to use stays on because stays on doesn't move. And I'm going quick. So I'm going onto my watercolour paper. And I probably need to re-ink this. That's okay. And I'm going to run it around the sides. I think I'll have, oh, that was the lid on the inside. And one more down there. Okay, so my stays on isn't going to move anywhere. And what I've got now is I have got an aqua painter. I've got my spritzer, both with water in. I'll put my gorgeous grape away. On my gorgeous grape. And I've got a clear block. And I'm picking up, what size is this? It's a B block. And I'm going to squish it into the middle. And that has become my paint palette. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spritz this. Let me move the cards out of the way. I'm just going to spritz this. I'm not too much. Just out of the way. Just to get a little bit of water. And then I'm going to have a bit of this. So I'm squeezing water out of here. And I'm going to see what happens. And I am playing. I am a big kiddie having fun right now. Seriously, it's just, it's ink and paper. Can't go wrong. And I want to get it off there. So it's just dripping off. And I'm going to spritz onto the clear block and see what happens, because it might drip again. Oh yes, there we go. Oh, and it's looking, it's spritzing the ink down there. Oh, look at that. That is so cool. Okay, so we've got quite a lot that's dripped off. So I'm going to come and pick it all up with my aqua painter, because I don't want to waste it. Ooh. I'm going to pick that bit up as well. Oh, too much fun. Too much fun. So, you could let that dry naturally if you wanted to. I'm going to got some gaps here. Pick out those bits. You could let that dry naturally. I'm impatient, so I'm going to use my heat gun on it, but I need to get the grid paper off because I'm just going to smear water everywhere. So I'll just fold that off to one side. And I've got my heat gun here. Okay, so turn your volume down if needed. And this will dry it and push the ink around a little bit. And it should flatten itself down reasonably quickly. So that's almost flat, so which tells me it's almost dry. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blob reasonably clear blobs of water onto some of the darker bits. I'm going to see if I've got any that I can pick up here still. And I'm going to put blobs of the dark, the purple, onto the whiter bits. So I've got beads of water and I obviously can't move it. because they would run everywhere. But can you see those? You can see this one down here moving very slightly. But these are all beads of water just sitting there, not doing a thing. And I'm going to leave that for a minute while I get rid of this lot, because I don't do messy. And I'm going to set that up there. And I'm going to look at what size I want to have my panel, which is this bit. So, wishing you an amazing birthday. Hope you feel better really soon. I think I'll go with... No, I do what? I'm going to go with the birthday one, because I think it's lovely. So I'm going to measure this up. Probably want to measure... Oh, look, there's a van coming. Oy, is that going to be a courier for me? Is that my doorbell going to go? So, I need to do it on my ruler. So I'm looking at a panel that's 6 centimetres. It's going to be my doorbell, isn't it? Let's make it 6.5 centimetres that way, which you would make it, you would look at 2.25 inches. And then in that direction I want 3.5. So that, oh, you can't see. Oh, I'm measuring up like crazy. Okay, forgot to zoom. That is my doorbell. Pause. Okay, where were we? Doorbell went. Okay, so I've measured up my rubber stamps, my rubber stamp that I want. So I know that the piece of watercolour paper I want is 6.5 by 3.5, which means that the black layer that goes around it will be 7 by 4. So, okay, I need to, probably ready to dry these off now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a piece of tissue over the top and pick up those blobs. And look what's happened. I've got little purple speckles there and I've got white bits here. Just so cute. Love it. Okay, so here's my trimmer. So this one, 6.5 by 3.5. And my black layer, 7 by 4 centimetres. And so you would do exactly the same in your imperial measurements. You just measure up your rubber stamp, get the sizing of it, and then you know where you're going. You know what size to cut your cardstock. A little longer block so I can see through it better. Okay, and then stays on again. There we go, wishing you an amazing birthday. And on my original I did do splodges of watercolour, but I'm just going to use what's left in my aqua painter to get my colour. And then I can start layering it up together. Now this has curled, it does curl, but that's why, partly why I'm sticking it to a piece of black cardstock, so it stops too much of the curl. So I'm going to use tear and tape reasonably liberally. And onto my piece of black. Oh, it's stuck. Stuck too fast. There we go, and then more on here. And this will come onto my card blank. Card blank, card base, to you what you call it, same. Onto there. And then this one again, I'm not going to use tear and tape now, I'm going to use snail, except I can't find my snail, so it's going to have to be tear and tape. So, put the splodge across the middle. final part across there. And onto here. And that, I think it's lovely. How much fun! Splushing and smushing. And I just think it's lovely. And do you know what? I've never seen anybody do a drip off a clear block before. I think I might have invented that. Fingers crossed. But it's just fun. It's just fun. Crafting is fun. Play. Just do. Anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me. Hope to speak to you soon. Bye.